Flosstube! Welcome to my channel. I'm Jessie, and this is Bobo Jessie Stitches. This is the channel primarily about cross-stitching, although every once in a while a quilt will show up, although it's more a while. I hope everyone is doing well. For everyone who is returning, welcome back. I hope that you had a wonderful holiday season. Happy New Year to you. For those of you who are new, welcome in. I hope that we'll have a good time. I know I have a handful of new subscribers because I did just do a whip parade, and I know I usually get an influx of some new people at that point in time. So thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me. Today I am filming on Monday, January 3rd. I have the day off. It's my company observes the federal holiday of January 1st when it fell on Saturday, which typically we would have observed on Friday, but because New Year's Eve is also a holiday for my office, we're observing it today. So it's my last day off before I have to go back to work, and I'm trying to do a lot of organizing today, a lot of cleaning, and trying to get myself ready to go back to work tomorrow because it's about to enter a it's been busy, but it's about to become even busier. And you always get I don't do resolutions. I've done them in the past, and even when I say I don't do the resolutions, even in January, I'm still like, this is going to be my goals for the year, even though they're not really resolutions, so to speak. But I always get a little bit I want to organize. I want to kind of get myself put together, and I'm going to be doing a couple of things. So I'll be getting my new quilting table later this month, and so I'm working on this room, trying to get it fully organized. But also, now that the home is mostly finished in its renovation, we still have some work left to be done, but there's no reason for us to not unpack the rooms that are done, right? So we need to really unpack the rooms that are done and kind of get this house put back into order because it's been a mess since a year ago almost. February was when the big storm in Texas came through. But anyways, that's kind of what's going on in my life. Not a whole lot. Same old, so to speak. We're having some crazy weather here in Texas. I think that we're not the only ones having it. On Saturday, we were in the 80s, and then we woke up to freezing temperatures in the low 30s on Sunday morning and did not go above 40. And today is similarly chilly. So by the end of the week, we'll be back into the 60s for our highs and mid 30s for our lows, which is about typical for our winters. We don't get freezing temperatures frequently. So anyways, let's talk about some cross-stitching, shall we? Today I'm going to talk about what I did in December. And for those of you who watch my Flosstubers videos, thank you so much. I know that that's a commitment to watch daily videos. So I appreciate you spending that time with me. So there is going to be some repetition because for those people who don't watch my Flosstubers videos, I'm going to talk about the stitching I did in December that you would have gotten updates on in the Flosstubers videos, and also just a little brief of a year in wrap up. So what happened in before I go into my personal stitching stuff, in the month of December I did come across 3 new Flosstubers that I wanted to go ahead and mention. That I think they actually are all 3 new, less than 5 videos between the 3 of them, but all of them I really enjoyed their first round out, or their first handful of videos out. So please go check them out because I think you'll enjoy them. The first one is Tossier Stitches. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. Apparently Tossier. I'm gonna let her tell you what they are, but they're cute. I'll leave it at that. Brand spanking new. At the time that I watched her, she had one video. But she's a teacher and has an excellent way of communicating, and I really enjoyed the way she talks about her stitching, and it was beautiful stitching. And so I love anyone who's going to nerd out about anything, so so go check her out. I really enjoyed her. The second one, I've actually followed her on Instagram for quite a while, I think, and she finally has started an Instagram, a Flosstube, and that's So Glover's Creations. Now she's a multi-crafter, so she calls hers a crafter's log, but again, I've also really enjoyed, she's got, I think at this point in time, 3 videos, 2 Flosstubes, and then a Stitch With Me or a Finish With Me. There's a third one I haven't watched yet. Sorry. So, but go check out So Glover's Creations. Really enjoyed her videos. And then last but not least is Total Stitch Show. That one you have to be okay with some adult language, I guess you could say, but hilarious. I think she just uploaded her third video, and I lull watching her, and you know, I think anyone who's willing to kind of just acknowledge how they are and it's authentic is always worthwhile supporting. And she is also a nerdy stitcher, and I want to thank Kari from DNA DNA Geeks. Oh my gosh, Kari, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time remembering your channel name right now. I'm so sorry. DNA something. Oh my god. Geekcrafts? DNA Geekcrafts, is that right? Sorry. So, but thank you for that recommendation. Really enjoyed it. So anyways, go check out those 3 new Flosstubers. I think that you'll like them. And, you know, I've noticed, by the way, anyone who's doing Flosstube videos, you don't owe any commitment to anybody on when you do them, how frequently you do them, or anything like that. I do have some Flosstubers that I watch that, you know, they go on the wayside, they stop making videos, and I've noticed that there's been a decline in some people making videos, and that might be expected as, my household still lives like we're in a pandemic, and we're not, you know, but it has people, there are people who are going back to their regular lives, that are going back into work in the office, and kids are back in school, and things like that. If you're in an area of the world where you're able to do that, congratulations. I don't feel that's not where we are here. And so sometimes, you know, things that you used to do, or you don't have the time to do it. So it's okay for those Flosstubers who have chosen to reduce the amount of videos that they have done. That really is okay. But I have noticed that there's now becoming an ebb down where people I watched a lot of are not making videos as frequently, and that's okay. So as new Flosstubers come up, I do try to watch them and support them, because, you know, especially when I see them and I like what they're doing, I want to see more. So go and check them out. Excuse me. I'm already talking too much. I'm starting to cough. All right, now let's get to my stitching. All right, so in terms of a December end cap review of December, I ended up working on 9 total projects, and I'll talk about each of those individually. But in total, I stitched almost every day except for 2 days, and I put in 11,730 stitches. For my purposes, I only count stitches. I don't count back stitches. I don't know why. I think it's a lot to do with Pattern Keeper. It's how Pattern Keeper counts. I only count what I can count in Pattern Keeper, and when I'm doing off of a paper pattern, it's just a lot easier for me just to count the boxes. So that's just what I do. And I had 5 finishes, but 3 of those are kind of faux finishes. I mean, they're finishes, but they don't really count. But I had 5 finishes. I also started, 5.25. And then I started 3 pieces. I had 3 pieces that I started and finished, and then I finished 3 other pieces. And, but yeah, so that's what I did in December. For a year-end recap, for those of you who are interested, I started counting my stitches. I shouldn't say that. I've been counting my stitches all year long for 2021 because I was in Magical Stitches and you had to count stitches, but I didn't report them. I didn't record them on a monthly basis until like May or June is when I started doing that. So I don't have a year-long numbers to share with anyone. And by the way, stitch numbers obviously are very individualized. Because I am now in No New Starts, and I'm seeing the way that they're doing different levels for the categories. So I guess in the second tier. So in terms of stitching numbers that I put in the course of a month. And so I've always assumed I wasn't the fastest. There are people who clearly stitch faster than me. And there are people who stitch not as fast as me, but that's okay. I spend a lot of time stitching. I don't have a lot of other commitments other than my husband and what we do in our own entertainment. And that makes it a lot easier for me to get a lot more stitching in. So, but in this, for the whole year of 2021, not too bad. In total, I had 32 projects that I worked on over the course of the entire year. I started January 1st on 2021 with 11 whips coming into the year. I did a time capsule unboxing. There's a video for that, and that I pulled out some stuff, and in that I identified 4 whips that I worked on from the time of that unboxing through today. And so if you count those as works in progress beginning on January 1st, because obviously they were started beforehand, I came in with 15 whips. I started 17 projects over the course of the year, and that takes you up to that 32 number. I ended up UFOing one of those projects that I came in with, and I finished 18 projects over the course of the year, which is amazing. And that does include my point, actually, I guess it would be a 0.25 or 1/25th of a project. But, and I am starting December 31st with 13 whips. So that's my year-end recap. All right, so let's get going. So first up is a start and a finish in December, and this is Park Hopper Bart's Winter Welcome. So here it is. So that is a start and a finish, and I'm realizing that I don't have all of my information. So this was on a 32 count Belfast linen. I don't remember the color. I'm so sorry. And it's called for floss, and so that's a DMC Etoile in the black and the white, and then the every other color is Sullivans. I'll put the stuff below. Okay, so that's the first one. That was a fun little stitch. I like Park Hopper Bart. If you're not following him and everything, be sure you check him out. And I worked on that for 5 days, and I put in 1,538 stitches is what I counted. That one I did do off of a paper pattern, and that was my count. My next up was Merry Witchmas Advent Calendar. Another start and a finish, but it's a faux finish because there's going to be 25 days, and I've only done day 1. So I started and finished day 1. So this is the Merry Witchmas Advent Calendar by the Laurel Witch, Laura Dobbs, the artist. This was a thank you gift that she did for us. She released a pattern every single day for the Advent. I only got day 1 done, and I am doing this on 32 count Flax linen by Zweigart with the called for DMC. This one took me 4 days to work on, and my count of this is 917 stitches. My goal for the Merry Witchmas Advent Calendar is pretty lofty, and I don't know if I'm going to do it, but the hope is to be able to do at least one a month. It'll take me 2 years to finish. That's not my plan, but, we'll see. My goal is to work on at least one a month and then go from there, because I have a lot of goals this year. So that was the second start and finish. My third start and finish is the Yule Ball Mystery Sal. That was from Forbidden Fiber Co. And this was both a start and a finish. The pattern is by Michelle Bendy, or Bendy Designs. And here it is. And this is on 32 count Belfast linen. The fabric is dyed by Forbidden Fiber Co. It's a Mythical, and all the floss, except for the black, is Forbidden Fiber Co. I did this 2/2, and oh, this was so much fun. I really enjoyed the Forbidden Fiber Co. boxes. If you are ever hesitant about doing one of these boxes, I recommend it. There's so many different themes that she has, and there was couple of Miss Flosses in the package. She got them out to me so quickly. So I really, really enjoyed working on that one. So that's it in terms of the things that were kind of planned. And so now I'm going to move over to my my time capsule box. So as I mentioned, I did have a box that I opened of that was a tub of cross stitch from when I was in high school that got packed up probably when I was in college or going into law school, and I hadn't opened up that box since probably moving into the home, which was after I graduated from law school. And when I opened it up, I had quite a few whips in there, as well as some fully kitted items that I hadn't even started yet, and some finishes that I probably need to fully finish. But go check out that video if you're interested in seeing that. But as I bring those into my rotations, I will definitely share them with you. But there were 4 projects that were in there that I thought, these are so close to being done. I need to just dedicate a few hours to them, and I might be able to finish them. And so this became my New Year's Eve project. Now, I didn't stitch all day on New Year's Eve. I mean, we stopped for lunch and dinner and the countdown, But so these were my goals. But of the 4, I finished 3. So I kind of went in the order of what I thought had the least amount of work to the most amount of work. And I think that was kind of fair. So this first one up, so these are all going to be from the 80s and the 90s. So this one was called the Treasured Friends Sampler. The copyright date on this is 1989. So here is this finish. If you had, what I needed to do on this was this little border. There was some stitching here of the border. I went ahead and frogged that out because I didn't have the thread pack anymore, or at least I didn't know which random threads I had in the tub belonged to this pattern. So I went ahead and found a conversion kit, a conversion chart for dimensions. So this was by Sunset, which is a dimensions line. And I found what would be the DMC conversion, and I went ahead and put in that instead. So it's not an exact match, but it's pretty darn close, and I don't think you can tell. So there's that first finish. That took me less than an hour to do that back stitching. So there was that first one. The second one I worked on was, it's politically incorrect, called Indian Vase, and this is by Something Special, Kandamar, and it is copyrighted in 1998. Is that right? 1988 is when this was copyrighted, and you can see I was a heathen because I stored all of my needles in the corner, and this is the finish. And what I had to do on this one, right, y'all, in the 80s, I was 10. I would, yeah, I would have been 12 in 88. And so you can see how bad it is. But I just had to finish this bottom part down here. I had the red outline, not the bottom. I had all of the red top outlines. And so what I did was I finished the red border, filled in the border, did all the back stitching, and that's what I did to finish up this project, which I am now calling a Native American vase. So there was that one. So that was exciting. And last but not least that I was able to finish was that I had also gotten this very silly Stars and Stitches by Busilla Go Marines. The copyright on this one is 1991. Chances are is that I started making this for my brother who had enlisted in the Marines at the time. And so that is probably my guess on what I did. And but my husband's a Marine, so he's going to get this. Because my 60-something-year-old brother probably does not care to get a little bear cross-stitch that at one point in time his 12-year-old sister was making. So this is this finish, And what I had to do on this guy was that most of the bear was done. And so I had to fill in just a little bit more of the bear. I had to finish, I think it was like 10 stitches in the bear. I did all the back stitching, and then I had to do the flag and the Go Marines. So there is that little silly finish. So those are all of my finishes. I know it seems like a lot, but there was so little. Like in total, I started working on on my time capsule projects probably around 10, 11 a.m. And that probably I finished around 8. So it was most of the day that I was working on that. This one is now in a project bag because I was not able to finish it. And here we go. So this one is called The Road to Success. There's no copyright date on it, so I'm not really sure when I started this, but I'm going to guess it's going to be in that same time period. So I've circa did around 1991, 1992. I did try to search for this pattern online to see if I could find a copyright date, and I wasn't able to find one. So, but anyways, and this is where it is. And so what I had to do was there was this top 3 lines of this blue. So basically there's like 3 rows of stitching in that light blue to get it up to that straight line. That's what I finished, and I started working on this part of the shadowed path of the trees. And that's all I got done before we started ringing in the new year. What's really interesting about these is that I was stitching these in hands because I don't have Q-snaps that would quite fit, and they're not going to quite work. And so I was like, you know what? These are old. I don't really care so much about the just because I care about the quality of it, really, because of how old they are. And so let's practice some in-hand stitching. I don't know how people do it. It does hurt your hands. It doesn't hurt my hands holding a Q-snap. I think it's the way I hold my Q-snaps. But, anyways, this one I am planning on finishing this month. And, has my January goal to finish. All right, now we're going to work on some whips. And so that was all. So in total for my time capsule projects, again, I only worked on that for one day. I put in 743 stitches in one day. Okay, next up is we did have 3 home games for the Houston Texans, and so this is my game project. This will now stop being a game project because if I only wait for games, I won't ever finish this. So we only have one more game left here in the season for Texans. We're not making it into the playoffs. But so this is Trans Pride Tapestry. This is by D's 20 Stitches, and the artwork is by Kari Nakken. And this is where I got to, and basically I continued to fill in this side of the thing. So I filled in all of that rose pink there, and that rose pink is what I got done. So this is where we are. Oh, I also did a little bit at the top here of the Diamante DMC because I wanted to see if I was going to be okay stitching with that or if I was going to want to convert the thread to something different. And I'm gonna let you know. I don't love stitching with Diamante. But and that is what's called for. It's what's called for in the pattern. I'm gonna stick to it. So this is good color blocking stitching when you need to do something that you're not thinking right, like you're just filling it, which is why it was a good game day project. But to use the Diamante, I think it does need thread conditioner on it to help. And so again, I'm going to continue to work on this outside of game day because again, if I wait, I'll never get done. It'll be like 500 years from now before I finish. And that's just silly. I don't want to do that. And then this is 16 count hue by Aida, 16 count hue Aida by Fortnight Fabrics. And that was exclusive to a box. All right. That one I worked on for 2 days, and I put in 374 stitches. I only took it to 2 games. But this will go with me for the game that's this coming Sunday. And then it'll go into my regular rotation. Last but not least is Barbara Anna's Christmas tree. I don't have a full picture, but here is a partial picture. What it will look like when it is done. And I got so much done on this, y'all. And here we are as of today. So at the very beginning of the month where I was that I had already done this bottom branch, and I had done part of this bottom half of this branch. So everything that I had finished in the month of December was I finished everything over here all the way up. So this whole column is completely finished on this end. And then on this side, I added this branch, and then I started, and I'm pretty much done with the bottom half of that branch there. So I love this pattern so much. I do have a little bit of a finish fever for it, but we'll see. So this is on 25 count Evenweave, stitch 2/2 with the called for DMC. This was a kit exclusive to Nitka Moscow. So check out her website there. As always, Barbara Anna's patterns are always so much fun to do that. I will continue to work on this in January because I'm doing no new starts, and I'm currently working on the travel project, and this is my passport project. So I need to put in at least another, if I remember my counting correctly, about 250 more stitches into this to get my passport. And then I will likely put it away. And so I think what will likely happen is that my goal will be to finish this branch right here. And so that way this whole piece is complete. And what's silly is that I can probably get this done, but I'm ready to move on, right? I mean, honestly, I'm not really a seasonal stitcher in the sense of like, oh, I must stitch in the season, but I'm really, as much as I love it, it's time for me to get a different pattern and work on a different project. So I worked on this one for 11 days, and I put in 3,048 stitches into that one. That's it. That's all my stitching for the month of December. Ooh, it's all falling down. But so it was a good month. I'm going to talk about plans, and then I'm going to do my haul. So what are my plans for this month and going into the new year? So I have opted out of WhipGo. I did participate in WhipGo in 2021. But when I was putting together my board, I don't have enough whips that I felt like warranted. Okay, I should say this. So first let me back up. I'm going to be doing no new starts this year. That's going to be my challenge group. And I'm doing 2 challenge groups, actually. Everything's going to be down below. But so I was going to be doing no new starts. And I was like, okay, well, I don't have enough whips where I have so much to do that I'm not going to want to have a new start. And let's be real, I'm going to have new starts. And so I wasn't sure I wanted to do it, but they do have a path, I guess, which is 22 and 22. So effectively it's 22 projects in 2022. And the point is not to exceed the 22 projects. So it allows you the flexibility of having new starts as you finish projects. The only rule in the 2022 is that when you finish a project, you have to put in a project, either a whip that you had not planned to work on this year, or a new start that's equal in size. So if it measures out as a large and you need to replace it with a large. That's, I think, the only rule when it comes to the new starts. And so I was like, well, that works for me. I'm coming in with 13 whips. I already knew I had at least 3 starts planned in the month of January. And so I was like, that takes me up to 16. That gives me another 4. And so, and a couple of these are pretty close to being done. So, you know, I was like, this works for me. And so that's what I am doing. And so when I made my WhipGo board, I originally thought, well, 22, that's perfect. And then I have 2 BAPs, big, awesome projects. And I was like, well, that will get me up to 24 there, right? Like that will, and I was going to leave my free space as a blank space. I wasn't going to put a project in there. And I was like, so I would put the 22 projects in and then 2 random, and then my 2 projects for my BAPs. And so my thought was basically, as the numbers are called, that would equal the project, right? Like if number 1 was called, that would equal number 1 that's on my list, and whatever my goal is that I was going to be doing, which I think was going to be 1,500 stitches in the project or finish, whichever came first. And well, the problem is, right, so she called January, and January's numbers are 2 and 19. Well, number 2 is fine. I have a number 2 project. I can work on that. But I don't have a 19 project. And so I was like, well, what am I supposed to do there, right? And so eventually there will be a project number 19. But right now there isn't. And so so I don't know. Right now, unofficially or officially, I'm not doing WhipGo. But the goal is for each of these projects is to put in 1,500 stitches in the month that they're called. Unofficially, I'm still going to do it. Project number 2 was called. I'm going to put in 1,500 stitches into project number 2, which is my Sailor Moon squad. But I don't have a 19. So do I go ahead and put in my new start that I have for this month is number 19, even though it would really be technically number 15? Yeah. So, we'll see. But at the end of the day, if I work on all 22 projects and I put in 1,500 stitches into all of them, I'll have a WhipGo, right? Anyways, so there's that. Doing no new starts. I am also part of Full Coverage Fanatics, and I like their goals, and they have multiple different types of projects for their full coverage challenges. And the one that I'm going to be choosing to try to do this year is the Wonders of the World, which is 5,000 stitches in each of these wonders, and there's 25 of them. I don't anticipate finishing this challenge this year. Because that's a lot of stitching in full coverage pieces. The only way I can do that is to only work on my full coverage pieces, and that's not going to happen. So, but the goal is for every month is to put in 5,000 stitches in one of these full coverage pieces. And my 2 full coverage pieces is my Cinderella, which is Upon a Dream, and my Sailor Moon Squad by Tilton Crafts. And so my plans for this month is to put in 5,000 stitches into Sailor Moon Squad, and then I'm going to alternate. Why did I pick Sailor Moon Squad? Because number 2 was called on WhipGo, and Sailor Moon Squad's my number 2 project. So that's the only reason why Sailor Moon got picked. And then after this, I will alternate months where it'll be 5,000 on Cinderella in February, and then we'll go from, basically I'll alternate my 5,000 stitches in each until one gets finished. And so that's kind of my goal there. And I also am participating in a brand new Facebook challenge group called Fandom Stitching. This one is doing fandom based off of Star Wars, and it's very similar in its process to Magical Stitches. I did not choose to do Magical Stitches in 22, mostly because the theme is a mystery clue-like kind of thing, and that was not really something I was interested in doing. And so I saw this on Instagram, and I was like, well, this looks interesting. It's pretty small, looks like it's pretty laid back, which is, I'm feeling that the No New Starts group is a little intense. It could be because of the beginning of the year and all the questions and stuff like that. But but it feels like the fandom one is kind of more laid back, They have weekly challenges, monthly challenges based off of a movie in the series every month. And obviously episode 1 is Phantom Menace. So they have challenges on a weekly basis and a monthly basis based on that movie. And then they have a year-long challenge, which is 3,000 stitches in each of the, where you're traveling. You're just basically traveling around the empire. And so we're going to see how that goes. I like it because I like the idea of challenges because it gives you something to go look for, to do. And there's 2 different levels. There's Princess Leia and General Leia levels of stitching, and which I like because then you can kind of pick and choose. It's like, okay, well, I'm not really, for this one, I'm going to put in the whatever it is, the low number is. I'm going to do Princess Leia for this project just to put some stitches into it versus, so it gives you something targeted towards. So we're going to see how that goes. It's a lot of challenge groups for me. I don't know if I can sustain all of them, but we're going to see which one I respond to well, right? And then go from there. So that's it in terms of my plans, for the month and for the year. So again, hopefully I'll put everything down below and you can find everything. I think it's too late to join No New Starts. I think you had to do that in December, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll put it down below. If you can still sign up, you can sign up, but I think it's closed now. All right. Haul. I got quite a bit of haul. All right. So first up is Stitching Book Club. I went ahead and purchased the kit. Oh! I had purchased last year the whole series for... Oh, y'all, I think I'm out of paper. I'm out of paper. I cannot show you what it's going to look like but I got the Great Gatsby. But last year I purchased the series of 3. It did not include the Narnia and Lion Witch of the Wardrobe. So hold on. All right, thanks for that. So anyways, Stitching Book Club. And so I had purchased all 3, so we did finally receive the Great Gatsby. Not a problem. She was had to do some self-care, and that's important for her own personal health. And so but I did purchase the kit from Kristen, who's Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, and so I did get the whole kit. So these are I did the Evenweave with the fabric there. Her kit included this sweet little bookmark, and it says here, there are all kinds of love in this world, but never the same love twice, which I think is really lovely. But here is the pattern. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? So this will be a new start for me this month. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I'll be able to get the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. She did just recently announce that there will be some additional licenses, but I still expect it to sell out. People do love the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. There's a lot of personal feelings about Narnia. So I got the kit. So that was my first one. And then I have a bunch of fabric. I got all of my Fabric of the Month clubs, and then I made a purchase. So first up is Hidden Treasure from Fiberlicious, from Yummy Fiberlicious, and this is a 32 count Lugana, and y'all, this thing is so delicious. Look at this. Look at this yellow. It's a little more golden in real life than how it's appearing on the screen, but oh man, I love it. I love it so much. Oops. So that one is there. Next up is my fabric from Rogue Stitching. I did opt out of the Fabric of the Month Club for Rogue Stitching this year, mostly because I'm getting 3. I was getting 3, and I'm starting to accumulate too much fabric, and for me to warrant keeping 3. And so I'm happy with with Fiberlicious because I feel like it gives me some really great bright colors, even though some of them are neutrals. And then I'm in the neutral one for Color and Cotton. But these are from my Rogue Stitching Fabric of the Month Club. So this one is Christmas Night from Atomic Ranch Fabric. Again, all 32 count Lugana. Look at this. By the way, I have been super happy with the fabric that I've gotten from Atomic Ranch in the from the Fabric of the Month Club. So even if you want to do one-off purchases from Rogue Stitching, I highly recommend this fabric. I've been really, really happy with them. And then this one is Weatherstone from Atomic Ranch Fabrics. It was, if you were in the club, you got 13 fabrics. So a baker's dozen. So this was the last one, this beautiful neutral here. So yeah, again, 32 count Lugana. So if they're still taking people for the club and you're looking for one, I do recommend the Rogue Stitching. It was a very good club. Different fabrics, different companies, good variety. Really, really liked it. Right. And then, as I mentioned, I also am in Color and Cotton's neutral club. Also 32 count Lugana. And this one is called Tuscan. So here that is. It's a lovely tan kind of color. Really happy with that. And then I also purchased from Fat Quarter Shop a charcoal gray Lugana from Zweigart. I don't remember. I think I purchased this for something, but I don't remember what for. I think it was one of those like, oh, I'm buying something from Fat Quarter Shop, but you can't have just whatever was being sent. So I went and bought some fabric. And so here that is. Oh, it's reading a little bit more blue, but it's a nice neutral gray. So whatever I purchased that for, I'm sure I will remember. So those are all my fabric purchases for it. And then, y'all, I'm so excited about this. I ordered this quite a while ago, and it came in today. So you're getting a preview. I ordered this from Unplanned Peacock Studio. I ordered thread drop holders. So here it is. I hope it focuses. So I contacted her to ask her if she could do it in a different wood, and I had wanted to ask her if she could do it in cherry, and she said she could, and she had the special order of the wood, but she accommodated the request. And so here it is, and there it is on top, and it's obviously stained. I did order it to come with the rings. It seems like it's just at whatever, it's the same price as what you get on if you were to purchase it from one of those big box mailing delivery places. But this way I'm supporting a small business, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to be spending my afternoon setting it up, and then I just grabbed one of my thread drops just so you can see what it will look like when it is on there. So chances are I'm going to adjust these little things. I'm probably going to get a different type of thread holder because this might hang too low, but we're going to see. There's only so much I can do today. But the goal is to get this fully set up today as best as I can, and then do a little video because this is part of my craft room organizing. So that's it. That's everything I got to talk about today. I did want to go ahead and do a couple of giveaways for the new year. I did have a new start this on January 1, but that's January stitching, so you're just going to have to wait and see. I'm kidding. I started on Lady Justice Mirabilia's, but I'm going to show you all of that at the end of the month because, again, the goal is 1,500 stitches in there. But I'm going to have 2 giveaways for everyone today for things that I am not going to use, and I would want to pay it forward in case you are going to use it. First of all, I'm going to apologize because I'm realizing that this is January 3rd, and this is going to be late. But this really came out of me thinking about what I was going to do. And I've been sitting here thinking about it. And it really took until this week of me getting myself organized, putting together all of my lists and figuring out what my challenges were going to be, how I was going to be stitching, for me to really decide what I was going to be doing in terms of tracking my own stuff. And the reality is that while I had every good intention to use this, I'm not going to use my stitching journal and planner that I had received in a box. And so I appreciate it's January 3rd. And please don't think of this as being, I don't, I was like, oh, I really had really good intentions. It is opened, just so that you know. I did take out the wrapping, so that way I could take a look at it and really figure out how I could use it. And I haven't touched anything. I will be in full disclosure. The tab of the September is a little bent there. But otherwise it's in pretty much the brand new condition. It does come with a little strap that is loose. And so because it is January 3rd, and I want people to get this as soon as possible in the year, so that way you can start using it if you are interested in this. I'm going to close out this giveaway in 1 week. So you have until Monday, January 10th, midnight. So to comment, and then I'll do a little short video. And I actually will probably record the video and put it into next month's update, but I'll go ahead and contact the winner at that point in time. So this is, if you are interested in this planner, then I would like to know what your plans are. That's going to be the word I'm going to put into the random comment picker. Plans, P-A-L-A, not planas. Plans, P-L-A-N-S is what I'm looking for. So tell me what your plans are. Do you make plans? Do you not plan? Are you chaotic stitcher? But let me know what your plans are. And in a week, on January 10th, on Monday, I will pick a winner for that and comment on your post for that. And then I'll get this sent out to you. So that way you can get it as soon as possible, so you can start using it for January. And the second thing that I want to go ahead and give away is, this is unopened, so I have no idea what it is, but these are stitching challenge cards. So I don't know really what's on the inside, but I can tell you that the instructions on the back say, use these 52 cards to help inspire your stitching throughout the year. Choose a card when you need help choosing your next project, or draw a card a week for a fun year-long challenge. So here you are. I don't anticipate using this. I belong to challenge groups. I also am very much a proponent of stitch what you want. I've never really had a want of trying to decide what to do, and changing things too much around is a little bit too, for me, not the way that I like to stitch. But I know there are people out there who love the mix, that they're process stitches as opposed to progress stitchers, and they're just looking for a way to pick projects, or when you maybe you got some stitching block. I don't know. But if you are interested in this, then I would like you to put into your comment the word cards, C-A-R-D-S, however you want to put it into a sentence. I love to see your creativity. And so that's going to be, now this one I'm going to give the full month. So this one I'll draw the winner when I do my January update at the beginning of February. So you have until January 31st to comment on for cards for that. And so all the same stitch, all the giveaway rules apply, as for any other Flosstube videos that you may watch. It's really kind of funny if you watch Michelle Bendy, that she always gives this very long, what I call the terms and conditions. And I'm like, something has happened where she has been contacted, and in terms of things getting lost in the mail and things like that. So I laugh because I'm a lawyer, and I'm like, y'all wonder why you get these weird warnings and things like that on things in the world. It's because something happened. So but please don't use the word giveaway in their comment. If you use the word giveaway, I will have to delete it. This prevents the spamming from happening. You do need to be over the age of 18 so that you can legally give me your address. I don't care where in the world you're located. If you are interested in this, I will ship this anywhere in the world. Just recognize that if it gets lost in international shipping or even in domestic U.S. shipping, I am not going to be replacing any of these items. I don't put any financial value on these items. I did purchase them at their fair market value, but I am not, to me, at this point in time, they are a gift. And that's where we are on that. So again, just as a recap, plans, P-L-A-N-S, Deadline for this is a week from today, January 10th, is when I will be drawing. So put in your comment, PLANS. And then for this one, if you're interested in the cards, CARDS, end of the month, January 31st. All right. And that's it. I don't think I have anything else to chit-chat about. This ended up being about an hour-long video, which is about normal for me. So, anyways, wherever you are, I hope you're having a stitching good time, and I'll see you in a month. Take care.